Hello and welcome to this video on inequalities. Before we get started on this topic, I just want to have a look at a few symbols and notation. So, what symbol do we use to indicate when something is equal? Well, hopefully you all know that we use the equal sign. What symbol do we use to indicate when something is not equal? Well, we use the equal sign as part of it, but we say that it is not equal to by putting a diagonal line through that equal sign. What symbol do we use to indicate when something is greater or less than something? Well, hopefully you know that we use these symbols. And we use them to indicate whether something is bigger or smaller. So we tend to have the opening of the sign, where it's open bigger, as you can see on the left, towards the bigger number. So let's have a look at that in practice. So what do we put between the 3 and the 4? We put the arrow this way because 4 is the bigger number. Minus 5 and minus 2, well, minus 2 is the bigger number. 15 and 8, 15 is the bigger number. 3.8 and 3.79, well, 3.8 is the bigger number. 6 and 0.7, 6 is the bigger number. 4.5 and 4.5, well, they are equal, so we would put the equal sign. What symbol do we use to indicate when something is greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to? Well, we know that the greater than and less than signs look like this. But if the greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, we tend to put an extra line underneath. So let's have a look at this in practice. Let's have a look at the top example. For example, which numbers from the box satisfy the inequality x is greater than or equal to minus 3? Well, which numbers satisfy that? Greater than or equal to minus 3. Well, minus 5 is less than minus 3. 0.6, yeah, that is greater than or equal to minus 3. So I can put 0.6 on my line. 5 is greater than or equal to minus 3. 0 is greater than or equal to minus 3. 4 is greater than or equal to minus 3. Minus 3.5 is less than minus 3. Minus 10 is less than minus 3. Minus 3 itself is greater than or equal to, because it's equal to. It's equal to it. And minus 2 also satisfies the criteria that x is greater than minus 3. Greater than or equal to minus 3. Next example, for example, which numbers from the box satisfy the inequality that x is less than or equal to 4? So less than or equal to 4, minus 5, 0.7, 5, no, because that's obviously greater than 4. 0 does satisfy this inequality. 4 does because it's equal to 4. So it satisfies this criteria that x is less than or equal to 4. 4.5 is obviously greater than 4, so that doesn't apply. 10, no, that doesn't apply either. Minus 3 does. Minus 3 is okay. And minus 2 is okay as well. So we say that this x is greater than or equal to minus 3 because the x there is the bigger thing, because the sign is open towards the x. It's greater than or equal to minus 3. Here, x is less than or equal to minus, we say it's less than, x is less than or equal to 4 because the sign is open towards the 4, indicating that it's the bigger item there, bigger than x. But we say it as x is less than or equal to 4. So these are what we call the inequality signs, indicating that something is not equal to something. So inequalities, it's not equal to. Now we can represent inequalities on a number line. How do we do this? Well, example 1 says on the number line below, represent the inequality x is less than 3. And what we do for that is we put a circle at 3. And if something is less than it, it's a hollow circle. So we don't put anything inside this circle. So we put it on the 3 because we've got 3 there. And if x is less than it, we put an arrow going in this direction. Example 2. On the number line below, represent the inequality x is greater than minus 1. So if it's greater than, we leave the circle hollow. If it's greater than minus 1, we're going this way because look, the x values are greater than minus 1. On the number line below, represent the inequality x is less than or equal to 5. If it's less than or equal to 5, we colour in this dot to indicate that it is less than or equal to the 5. Okay, you've put it on the 5, directly on the 5. But it's less than or equal to, so it's less than or equal to 5. So it could be any of those values. Example 4, on the number line below, represent the inequality x is greater than or equal to minus 4. So greater than or equal to minus 4. So I'm colouring it in because it could be equal to that minus 4. But it's greater than or equal to that minus 4. Example number 5, what inequality is represented by this number line? So it is you can just say x. X is less than, because it's a hollow circle, less than 1. You might also spot that the way that the arrow is going here is also the way that the inequality goes that way. Example 6, what inequality is represented by this number line? Well, you can just say x or any letter is greater. How do I know it's greater? Because I'm getting bigger values here, aren't I? Greater than or equal to minus 2. Why is it greater than or equal to? Because that is coloured in. Okay, that's coloured in. And also, how do I know which way to put my sign? We'll look at the arrow going that way and look at that arrow that's going the same way. Example 7, what inequality is represented by this number line? Well, again, I'm just going to pick a letter x. This time it's greater than, because look, my arrow is going that way. It's not coloured in, so it's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than minus 2. Example 8, what inequality is represented by this number line? It's less than or equal to, because it's coloured in, 3. The arrow is going that way, same as what my inequality sign is. Now, slightly different situation here. On the number line below, represent the inequality minus 1, and then you've got a symbol. I'm not going to say what it is at the moment. And then a number, and then x, and then another symbol, and 5. We say this as x is greater than minus 1, but less than or equal to 5. That's how we say it. We say the x bit first. X is greater than minus 1, but less than or equal to 5. So how do we represent greater than minus 1? We know we put a hollow dot. Less than or equal to 5, we know we colour in the dot. And then all we have to do is join them by a line. Example 10, on the number line below, represent the inequality x is greater than -5 and less than 3. So greater than -5, I'm going to put a hollow dot here and a hollow dot at 3, join them by a line. Example 11, what inequality is represented by the number line below? So remember, start off with your x in the middle. I'm going to put -1 here and 3 here because they're my values respectively. And then x is greater than or equal to, because it's coloured in, and less than 3 because it's not coloured in. Both these signs have got to be going the same way, okay? Both these signs are going to be going the same way. But think about it logically. X can take any of these values. If x can take any of these values, x is greater than or equal to -1, but less than 3. So that's why those signs are that way. And example 12, what inequality is represented by the number line below? So I've got -2 on this side and 1 on this side. X is less than or equal to 1, but greater than or equal to -2. Why greater than or equal to? Because they're coloured in. And they're going this way because x can take any of these values in between here. So x is greater than or equal to -2, but less than or equal to 1. Okay, here are some questions for you to have a go at yourself. Pause the video now, have a go at these, and resume the video to see the answers. And here are the answers. Well done for having a go at those.